So greetings from Pennsylvania once again, and in this video we're going to make our way to what's called the Victoria Iron Furnace. I'm currently working on another video right now too, exploring Pennsylvania's highways, Route 325. I think I'll show a few little clips of the furnace in that video. But anyway, we have been to this furnace several times in the past, so it's going to be like visiting an old friend. I'm kind of curious to see how it's doing too. I know it had like trees growing on and everything. One of these days it's going to tumble down. But I want to officially include it in my series on Pennsylvania's iron furnaces too. So we're going to start making our way there because we are parked along Route 325 here in Dauphin County, and we're going to make our way to the furnace. So this is the parking lot for the Victoria Trail. There's a sign for it back there if you know where that is. So out from the parking lot we do need to make our way up the road a bit here. I think there's a place we can walk in right up here. Just a little bit further up there's another road, state game land road. Yes, we're gonna head in over here. I think there's parking a little bit further down that's closer, but it's a much smaller parking lot. But I've always just come from this way, so it's what I'm familiar with. Man, check out the color on that mountain. It's a beautiful day for a walk. We'll be walking along Clark's Creek to get to the furnace too. Yeah, the mountain is just ablaze with color. Yeah, I was wondering what that noise was. It looks like they're doing some work on the bridge down here. But that's okay, because we're not actually going to be crossing the bridge. Yeah, once I got down to the bridge there, I hooked a right. We're just kind of walking along Clark's Creek right now. You can hear them, I think they're unloading lumber and beams back there, doing something with the bridge. It's only like a 10-minute walk to the furnace from here. Like I said, there's probably a quicker way to get here, but why not enjoy a walk through the woods too? Should mention this is probably my favorite iron furnace, and one reason is because it's just a beautiful walk and scenery to get back here. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is like visiting an old friend. Coming back to, check up on them, see if they're still gonna be here. I don't know. As with a lot of these old iron furnaces, it's starting to crumble a bit in places. I know it has a massive tree growing on top of it, and when that tree falls, it's probably gonna take part of the furnace down with it. So every time I come back here, I'm not sure what I'm gonna see. It's like, stopping in town and seeing if your friend is still gonna be alive or not. Kind of what it's like. Alright, so our old friend is just up ahead. There's a distinct trail here now. Should catch a glimpse of it. Well, not just yet. Let's walk together here for a bit. Oh, there she is. I see her up there. She's still standing strong. Victoria Iron Furnace. Wow. So quick, give a little bit of history on this one.
This was built back in 1836, and I forget the name of the guy who built it offhand, but I'll put it down below here. I have it in my notes, but my notes are back in the Jeep yet. But there were several other buildings built here earlier. I believe he bought this property back in 1829 and started building on it around that time period. Several iron forges and some other buildings like a house and things like that. But in 1836 is when he built the furnace back here. And it only lasted until about 1845 or somewhere around there. I think there was a collapse in the iron market, so his business kind of went bust. And this furnace has been sitting here ever since 1845, unused. But she is beautiful. Just might be my favorite iron furnace. I just remember the first time I came out here and found it. I had heard it was back here. I'd stopped and talked to some of the locals. You know, there's some houses further up, but no one knew what I was talking about. So I just kind of came out searching for it. I had some rough directions. And I remember just coming the way we did and just seeing it off in the distance. I was like, oh my goodness, you know, there it is. So I think I'll set you down and take a walk up to it so you can see how big this thing actually is. Let's take a walk up together. As you can see, you can go inside this one. Not that I would recommend it, but there's quite a bit of collapse on the inside. Yeah. So it has some cool features though. So you can see how you have some of the big pieces of iron that are just holding up the stone here. Some other pieces in here just helping to hold the thing in place. Here's another piece right here. A lot of stone is sitting on top of this. This is a huge, thick piece of iron. But yeah, into the belly of the beast in a way here. This one has the old fire brick in here. You can see this is all the fire brick. This is the inner lining. You can see how a lot of it's collapsed here, but it would go all the way up to the top, as you can see there. It's still black in color from when it was used back in last time in 1845. That's a cool shot. Looks like there's actually some metal at the top too. But then you can see where the inner lining has fallen away, revealing the outer stone lining. Some iron work in here too. And they had some of these other openings that would allow, this would bring the oxygen in. They'd have bellows here, remember that? That's where it would come in. That's the one we came in. Cool. This one here is probably where the pig iron flowed out from. This is the largest opening here. Yeah, but this is just pretty awesome in here. You're just kind of standing in the midst of history here. Like I said. And you're touching the black on here. This is from the last time it was fired. You know, back in 1845. This black crust that formed on it. Alright. Pretty awesome place. Even here you can see kind of the curvature of the firewall coming down, kind of making like a bowl shape in here. This is where the action happened, where everything was melting. There's like a little gap in between there, between the outer wall and the inner wall. And there were other buildings here at one point, but as far as I know, this is the only one that remains. In the past, I've explored up beyond and up past here. I never really saw anything else. There are some slag piles around here too. Slag is the leftover stuff from the iron smelting process. And the cool thing about this slag piles is that they were kind of purplish in color. Sometimes they're like green or blue, but this stuff was like purplish. gonna try and look for some. I think there's some down by the creek. Some slag. We'll see. I think I have to get down there somewhere. Yeah, a beautiful place to have a furnace. And somewhere along here there would have been a dam too. They would have harnessed the water power once again to operate the bellows, which would force oxygen into our furnace here, our friend. Get some views from this side. Yeah, it does have a lot of plants growing on it. There's one, I don't know if you can see it from this view, but there's one big tree growing up on it there, which is kind of not the greatest thing. Alright, well, I'm having a little trouble finding that slag. There was never a whole lot here. Like I said, it only operated for just a few years compared to some places where there's just huge piles of slag that you can find. It's a lot more overgrown than I remember too. I remember there being a spot down by the creek that's kind of open that you could find some. But maybe as I'm heading back, I'll look around a little bit more. But we'll say goodbye to our old friend for now. Like I said, I'm going to film just a little bit more as I walk along the creek. Keep my eyes open for some slag, but for now we'll say bye to our friend though. Alright, so farewell, old friend. Maybe we'll see each other again someday. Alright. Well, let's see if we can find some of that slag back here somewhere. Alright, well, let's see if we can find some in here. Of course, all the leaves are covering everything too. I felt like I found some here in the past. But, we'll see. So that was unsuccessful. I couldn't find any. Not really sure where I found it in the past. It's down there somewhere, but I know I have a couple pieces at home from the very first time I was here. But they're probably in a box somewhere. But if I can find them, I'll take a quick video or some pictures of them and show them to you. Because they are kind of cool. Like they said, they're a purplish color. Alright, so I did manage to find some of those pieces of slag down in the basement. Just sitting here at my desk doing some editing for some videos. But yeah, you can see it's just a little bit of a purplish tint to some of these. Not sure how well it'll show up on camera. Most of it's black, but like this one here, maybe just a little bit of a purplish tint to it. Yeah, some bigger chunks. Like a much darker. Here's a piece that I got from somewhere else. I think one of my students gave this to me, but this one has obviously much more greenish colors to it. So very different types of colors and from two different types of furnaces. So, but this is the stuff I got from the Victoria iron furnace the first time I was there. All right, we're going to leave this peaceful woods, peaceful valley. Down there's Clark's Creek again, and we're start heading back. I'm going to see where there's another trail that takes you out to that, where I think it's another parking area. I'm going to kind of explore that a little bit, see what that comes out at. But that'll be it for the video. And as always, thanks for coming along, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.